I apologize beforehand if I do get emotional. My brother's tragedy continues to haunt me, and so at first I want to apologize for that, and thank you for having me here today. My name is Yusuf Faqiri, and I'm here to share the story of my brother Soleiman Faqiri. And it's a story that we all have a stake in this province, and his story should create a profound alarm for all of us in Ontario. A story that we should not forget about, and a story that should not be repeated again, because we don't want another Salman. My brother Soleiman Faqiri was killed last December while in the Central East Correctional Facility in Lindsay, Ontario, and according to the Ombudsman, the most complained jail in 2015 to 2016. My family tried to see him on multiple occasions. My parents and my mother and my father 3 times, myself and my younger brother once. And we weren't able to see him. He was only there for 11 days. They took his dignity away from him. And I myself, with my younger brother, articulated that my brother had a mental illness. So staff at the facility were well aware of Salman having schizophrenia. It was well documented. Salman was killed at the hands of Central East correctional officers when more than a dozen of them, yes, you heard, a dozen of them, applied force to him. Salman suffered from schizophrenia, and he was being held at Central East only temporarily while awaiting a transfer to the Ontario Shores Centre for Mental Health. He had been scheduled to have a medical evaluation at Ontario Shores, but he never made it there. I'm told that in the course of the use of force application that ended his life, Salman became vital signs absent and could not be revived. However, the post-mortem report prepared by the coroner's office showed that my brother was not subjugated to use of force. Rather, he received a vicious beating from multiple correctional officers. What possesses individuals to apply force to a mentally ill person? I really ask that to Marie-France Lalonde or to any of these officers. What possess to apply force to someone who can't even defend himself? Please, I would love to hear that, because I haven't heard much in the last 9.5 months. Salman was fully restrained at the time he was beaten, and even had a hood over his head. A spit hood is a thing that prevents you from spitting saliva and biting. The post-mortem shows that my brother had more than 50 recent impact injuries on his body. None of these injuries were related to life-saving efforts. And a significant part of these injuries were blunt impact trauma. This is what the coroner's office said, blunt impact trauma. Why? Again, I asked the question, why? My mother asked the same questions, why? My father, my siblings, public, people in Ontario have asked me why. To this day, we don't know why. And remember, none of these injuries were related to life-saving efforts. I'm here today because even with a passage of 9.5 months, 9.5 grueling months, where I've continued to go to see my brother's grave, and we still do not have answers. And my pain, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing compared to the pain that my mother goes through, or my father. Believe me, losing your child is, I don't know how that would feel. My family has not been given answers about why my brother was beaten to death. There must be accountability for Salman's needless death. There has to be accountability for Salman's needless death. We need to have accountability for Salman's needless death, because we do not want another tragedy like Salman's. My brother is gone. He's not coming back. But there's other people who need to be saved. My family is still waiting for the Kawartha Lakes Police Service to confirm that criminal charges will be laid against the correctional officers who beat my brother. The post-mortem report indicates that Salman was subjugated to multiple assaults in those last minutes of his life. No one will tell my family or my legal counsel why charges have not been laid. I'm here to tell Salman's story, a man who spoke 3 languages, a man who played football and rugby in high school, a man who went to University of Waterloo's engineering program prior to this illness that he was diagnosed, a man who was loved by every single person in his family, who had many friends, who had this insatiable smile, who was brilliant, who was generous, but ultimately a human being who had a family. I have nephews and nieces that will never see my brother again, that won't remember him. He's not coming back. For me and my family, all we can do is keep waiting. Continue to have the cancer going into our hearts. Why? And why charges have not been... Keep waiting. Keep waiting, and it's been a profoundly long wait. Seasons have passed, birthdays have gone, milestones have been achieved, but my family continues to wait as to why. We do not know the names of the individuals that killed my brother, guards, individuals that worked for the government, who was killed under government care. I mean, this is a profoundly important question. Someone who needed help was killed under government care. My brother needed a bed and a doctor, and instead he got handcuffs and fists. My brother should not have died the way he died. No human being should have. And I leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. He came there as a human being. Instead, he left us in a body bag. And I leave you with this final question. What kind of society do we truly live in when a man with a mental illness, a known mental illness, is killed under government care in the way that he did, and the family still continues to wait for answers? We have a profound responsibility. From the bottom of my heart, on behalf of my family, I thank all of you for your time. Thank you very much.